Introduction: The journey to a better. Have you ever felt trapped in a cycle of negative thoughts? Do emotions sometimes feel like they're running the show, leaving you overwhelmed and unsure of how to regain control? If you answered yes, you're not alone. These struggles are part of being human, but they don't have to define your life. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is a proven, powerful tool that can help you break free from these patterns and reclaim your life. Welcome to your journey toward a better, more resilient you. This audiobook isn't just about learning, it's about experiencing transformation. Together we'll explore the foundations of CBT, practical strategies to apply in daily life, and real-world examples that will bring its power to life. Let's get started. Chapter 1. Understanding the mind's inner workings. Imagine your mind as a lens through which you view the world. That lens influences everything: how you interpret events, how you feel about them, and how you react. But what happens when the lens becomes clouded with negativity or distortions? The result is often a cycle of thoughts, emotions, and behaviors that can trap us in patterns of stress, anxiety, or self-doubt. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, is designed to clean that lens and give you a clearer, more empowering view of life. In this chapter, we'll dive deep into the foundational principles of CBT, explore the powerful connection between thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, and lay the groundwork for how this understanding can transform your mental and emotional well-being. The interconnection of thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. At its core, CBT orates on a simple yet profound idea. What we think influences how we feel, and how we feel impacts how we behave. It's a continuous feedback loop that can either work for us or against us. To better understand this, let's break it down. Thoughts. These are the internal narratives or interpretations we assign to situations. For instance, if you think, "I'm not good enough," this thought shapes your perception of yourself and the world around you. Feelings. Thoughts give rise to emotions. Negative thoughts often lead to feelings such as sadness, anxiety, or frustration. In contrast, positive or realistic thoughts tend to promote feelings of calmness, confidence, and contentment. Behaviors. Emotions drive actions. If you feel anxious about a presentation, you might avoid preparing for it or even try to get out of it entirely. On the other hand, feelings of confidence might push you to rehearse and deliver your best. This trifecta is known as the cognitive triangle, a central concept in CBT. It emphasizes that by changing one part of the triangle, most often our thoughts, we can influence the entire system, breaking the cycle of negativity. Let's take a closer look at how this cycle plays out in real life. Imagine this scenario. Situation: you're at work and your boss walks past without acknowledging you. Thought: they're upset with me. I must have done something wrong. Feeling: anxiety begins to creep in along with a sense of unease. Behavior: you avoid your boss for the rest of the day, reinforcing the belief that something is wrong. Now let's rewrite this scenario using the principles of CBT. Situation: your boss walks past without acknowledging you. Thought: they're probably preoccupied or having a busy day. It's not necessarily about me. Feeling: you feel neutral or even compassionate toward your boss. Behavior: you carry on with your work and consider checking in with your boss later. By changing the thought, you've altered the entire outcome of the situation. The role of automatic thoughts. Many of our thoughts happen so quickly that we're not even aware of them. These are known as automatic thoughts, and while some are helpful, others are not. Automatic thoughts often stem from deeply ingrained beliefs or past experiences. For example, if you grew up in an environment where criticism was common, you might automatically assume blame in any ambiguous situation. Identifying these automatic thoughts is a key step in CBT, as it allows us to question their validity and replace them with healthier alternatives. Exercise. Catch your thoughts. Over the next day or two, pay attention to your thoughts, especially in moments of stress or strong emotion. Write them down in a journal or on your phone. Don't judge or analyze them yet, just observe. This awareness is the first step toward change. Understanding cognitive distortions. Our thoughts are not always accurate. In fact, they're often skewed by cognitive distortions, which are systematic errors in thinking. These distortions can amplify negative emotions and keep us stuck in unhelpful patterns. Here are a few common ones: all or nothing thinking, seeing things in black and white terms. For example, if I fail this test, I'm a total failure. Catastrophizing, expecting the worst-case scenario. If I speak up in this meeting, I'll embarrass myself and ruin my reputation. Overgeneralization, drawing sweeping conclusions based on a single event. I didn't get this job, so I'll never be successful. Mind reading, assuming you know what others are thinking. She didn't reply to my message. She must be angry with me. Learning to identify and challenge these distortions is a critical skill in CBT. By doing so, you can create a more balanced and accurate perspective. Why CBT works. Unlike some forms of therapy that focus primarily on past experiences, CBT is solution-focused and rooted in the present. It's about understanding how your current thought patterns influence your feelings and behaviors, and then taking actionable steps to create change. Research consistently shows that CBT is effective for a wide range of issues, including anxiety, depression, and stress. What makes CBT particularly powerful is its emphasis on skill building. The strategies you'll learn aren't just for therapy sessions. They're tools you can use for the rest of your life. As you practice, you'll become more adept at spotting unhelpful patterns and replacing them with healthier alternatives. A quick recap. The cognitive triangle illustrates the connection between thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Negative cycles can be broken by identifying and changing unhelpful thoughts. Automatic thoughts and cognitive distortions often underlie our emotional reactions. CBT equips you with lifelong skills to navigate challenges and improve your mental well-being. As we move forward in this audiobook, keep this foundation in mind. Each technique and strategy we explore builds on these core principles. By the end of this journey, you'll have the tools to clean the lens of your mind and see the world and yourself with greater clarity and compassion. Let's move on to identifying those negative thought patterns that may be holding you back. Chapter 2. Identifying negative thought patterns. Before we can reframe or challenge negative thoughts, we need to identify them. Many of us move through life unaware of the habitual ways we interpret situations and how those interpretations shape our emotions and behaviors. This chapter is all about becoming a thought detective, learning to recognize the patterns that keep us stuck, and laying the groundwork for transformation. The subtle power of thoughts. Let's start with a simple truth. Our thoughts shape our reality. If you've ever woken up in a good mood, only to have it ruined by a single frustrating moment, you've felt the power of a thought. Thoughts are the filter through which we experience the world, and when that filter is distorted or negative, it can color everything in our lives. But here's the good news. You don't have to accept every thought as truth. Thoughts are not facts. They're mental events that can be questioned, examined, and if necessary, replaced. Automatic thoughts, the silent influencers. Have you ever reacted to a situation without understanding why you felt so strongly? These reactions are often driven by automatic thoughts, quick, reflexive interpretations of events. Automatic thoughts are shaped by past experiences, beliefs, and assumptions, and they often operate just below the surface of awareness. Examples of automatic thoughts. Situation. You wave at a friend, but they don't wave back. Automatic thought. They must be upset with me. Situation. Your manager asks for a meeting unexpectedly. Automatic thought. I've done something wrong. Situation. You make a small mistake in a project. Automatic thought. I'm so incompetent. These thoughts happen so quickly that we often don't notice them. However, they play a significant role in shaping our emotional and behavioral responses. Exercise. Catch your automatic thoughts. Spend the next day or two paying close attention to your thoughts, especially in moments of stress or discomfort. Write them down. Don't worry about analyzing them yet. Just observe and document. This process of noticing is the first step toward change. Common cognitive distortions. Cognitive distortions are systematic errors in thinking that often lead To negative emotions and unhelpful behaviors. They're like funhouse mirrors that distort reality, making things seem worse than they really are. Let's explore some of the most common distortions: all or nothing thinking, seeing situations in black and white terms with no middle ground. Example: if I don't do this perfectly, I've failed completely. Catastrophizing, jumping to the worst-case scenario without evidence. Example: if I make a mistake in this meeting, I'll lose my job. Overgeneralization, drawing broad conclusions from a single event. Example: I didn't get that job, I'll never be successful. Mind reading, assuming you know what others are thinking, often in a negative way. Example: she didn't reply to my text because she's angry with me. Emotional reasoning, believing that if you feel something, it must be true. Example: I feel like a failure, so I must be one. Should statements start creating rigid rules for yourself and others, often leading to guilt or frustration. Example: I should always be productive. If I'm not, I'm lazy. Personalization, blaming yourself for events outside your control. Example: the meeting went poorly because I didn't contribute enough. Filtering, focusing only on the negative aspects of a situation while ignoring the positive. Example: I got positive feedback, but they mentioned one area for improvement, so I must have done poorly. How to identify cognitive distortions. Recognizing cognitive distortions requires practice and self-awareness. Here are some tips to help you get started. Pause and reflect. When you notice a strong emotional reaction, pause and ask yourself, what thought just went through my mind? Look for patterns, review your journal or mental notes. Do certain types of distortions appear repeatedly? Awareness of your patterns can help you anticipate and challenge them. Ask questions. Is this thought based on facts, or is it an assumption? Am I viewing this situation objectively, or am I letting my emotions distort it? What evidence supports or contradicts this thought? The impact of negative thought patterns. Unchallenged negative thoughts can have far-reaching consequences. They can fuel anxiety and depression. Persistent negative thinking creates a cycle that deepens emotional distress, undermine relationships. Assumptions like, they don't care about me, can lead to misunderstandings and conflict. Stifle growth. Beliefs such as, I'll never be good enough, can prevent you from pursuing opportunities. By identifying and addressing these patterns, you can break free from these limitations and create space for growth and positivity. A quick exercise: naming the distortion. The next time you catch a negative thought, try to identify which cognitive distortion it reflects. For example, thought, I can't believe I forgot to send that email. I'm so careless. Distortion. Overgeneralization. Write down the thought and the distortion. Over time, you'll become quicker at spotting these patterns and diffusing their impact. The path forward. Identifying negative thought patterns is an essential step in the process of change. It's like turning on the light in a dark room. Once you see what's there, you can begin to clean and organize. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to challenge and reframe these thoughts, transforming them from obstacles into opportunities for growth. Remember, awareness is power. Every thought you catch is a step toward a healthier, more balanced mindset. On Chapter 3, Challenging and Reframing Negative Thoughts. Now that you've learned how to identify negative thought patterns, the next step is to challenge and reframe them. This is the core of cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, transforming unhelpful thoughts into balanced and constructive ones. In this chapter, we'll explore practical techniques to question your thinking and develop healthier mental habits. Why challenging thoughts matters. Unchallenged. Negative thoughts can feel like undeniable truths, but they're often based on assumptions, distortions, or incomplete information. By challenging these thoughts, you can reduce the intensity of negative emotions, gain a clearer, more balanced perspective, improve your decision-making and behavior. Challenging thoughts isn't about forcing yourself to be overly positive. It's about finding thoughts that are accurate, realistic, and helpful. Step 1. Pause and reflect. When you notice a negative thought, the first step is to pause and create space for reflection. Ask yourself, what triggered this thought? How am I feeling right now? Is this thought helping or harming me? Creating this moment of mindfulness helps you step back from the automatic cycle of thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Step 2. Gather evidence. Negative thoughts often feel convincing, but they're not always supported by facts. To challenge them, gather evidence for and against the thought. Consider the following questions. What evidence supports this thought? Example: I made a mistake in my report, which could be why I'm thinking I'm bad at my job. What evidence contradicts this thought? Example: I've completed many projects successfully, and my manager has praised my work in the past. Write down both sides. Seeing the evidence in black and white can help you evaluate the situation more objectively. Step 3. Explore alternative perspectives. Ask yourself questions to broaden your perspective and find alternative ways of interpreting the situation. What would I say to a friend in this situation? Often we're kinder and more compassionate to others than we are to ourselves. Imagine giving advice to a close friend. What's the worst that could happen? How likely is it? This question helps reduce catastrophizing by forcing you to examine the actual probability of a worst-case scenario. Am I jumping to conclusions or assuming the worst? Challenge mind reading and overgeneralization by asking if there's concrete evidence to support your assumption. Step 4. Reframe the thought. Once you've examined the evidence and explored alternative perspectives, you're ready to reframe the thought. A reframed thought should be accurate, based on facts, not assumptions. Balanced, neither overly negative nor overly positive. Helpful, promotes constructive emotions and actions. Example: reframing a thought, original thought. I'll never be good at public speaking. Evidence for: I struggled with my last presentation and felt nervous. Evidence against: I've successfully explained ideas in smaller meetings and I'm learning and improving. Reframed thought: public speaking is challenging for me, but I can improve with practice and preparation. Techniques to challenge thoughts. Here are some additional strategies to help you challenge and reframe negative thoughts. Socratic questioning. This involves asking yourself a series of open-ended questions to examine the validity of a thought. Examples include: what evidence supports or refutes this thought? Am I considering all relevant information or just focusing on the negative? How would someone else view this situation? 2. Decatastrophizing. When you're catastrophizing, ask yourself, what's the worst-case scenario? How likely is it? What's the best-case scenario? What's the most realistic outcome? This helps you gain perspective and reduces the emotional intensity of the thought. Cost-benefit analysis. Evaluate the impact of holding on to a negative thought. What are the costs of thinking this way? E.g., increased stress, avoidance of opportunities. What are the benefits of thinking this way? E.g., temporary comfort or justification. What are the benefits of adopting a more balanced thought? Behavioral experiments. Sometimes the best way to challenge a thought is to test it in real life. For example, thought: if I speak up in the meeting, everyone will judge me. Experiment: share one idea in the next meeting and observe the reaction. Result: people might respond positively, or the reaction may not be as negative as you feared. Practice makes progress. Challenging and reframing thoughts takes practice. At first it might feel unnatural or difficult, but over time it will become second nature. Here's how to build this skill. Keep a thought journal. Write down negative thoughts, evidence, and reframed thoughts regularly. Set reminders. Use sticky notes or phone reminders with questions like, is this thought helpful? To prompt reflection. Celebrate small wins, acknowledge progress, no matter how small. Every reframed thought is a step toward greater mental clarity and resilience. A quick recap. Challenging thoughts involves pausing, gathering evidence, and exploring alternative perspectives. Reframed thoughts should be accurate, balanced, and helpful. Techniques like Socratic questioning, decatastrophizing, and behavioral experiments can help you challenge unhelpful thoughts. By learning to challenge and reframe negative thoughts, you're taking control of your mental landscape. You're no longer at the mercy of automatic, unhelpful patterns. Instead, you're actively creating a mindset that supports growth, resilience, and well-being. In the next chapter, we'll explore actionable strategies to replace unhelpful behaviors with constructive ones, reinforcing the progress you've made in reframing your thoughts. Let's keep building toward a healthier, more empowered you. Chapter 4. Changing unhelpful behaviors. While thoughts and emotions play a critical role in shaping our experiences, behaviors often complete the cycle. The way we act in response to our thoughts and feelings can either reinforce negative patterns or help break them. In this chapter, we'll explore how to identify unhelpful behaviors, understand their purpose, and replace them with constructive actions that align with your goals and values. Understanding the thought-emotion-behavior cycle. Thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are interconnected, forming a self-reinforcing cycle. For example, thought, "I'm going to fail at this presentation." Emotion, anxiety, fear. Behavior, avoid practicing, procrastinate, or over-prepare to the point of exhaustion. Each part of the cycle influences the others. Avoidance behaviors, for instance, might temporarily reduce anxiety, but ultimately reinforce the fear by preventing you from challenging it. To break free from this cycle, we need to address not only the thoughts and emotions, but also the behaviors. Step 1. Identify unhelpful behaviors. The first step is to become aware of the behaviors that keep you stuck. These behaviors often fall into one of three categories. Avoidance examples: avoiding difficult conversations, procrastinating on tasks, or withdrawing from social situations. Compensation examples: overworking to mask insecurity, people-pleasing to avoid rejection, or excessively seeking reassurance. Self-sabotage examples: giving up on goals prematurely, neglecting self-care, or engaging in unhealthy habits. Exercise, behavior inventory. Over the next few days, take note of situations where you feel stuck or upset. Write down the situation, how you responded, the short-term outcome, e.g., did you feel relieved, comforted, or validated? The long-term consequence, e.g., did it reinforce the problem or create new challenges? This exercise will help you identify patterns and understand how your behaviors are serving or hindering you. Step 2. Understand the purpose of the behavior. Every behavior, even unhelpful ones, serves a purpose. They often provide short-term relief, protection, or comfort. However, they can come at the expense of long-term growth and well-being. Questions to explore the purpose. What need is this behavior trying to meet, e.g., safety, validation, control? What emotions is this behavior helping me avoid, e.g., fear, guilt, sadness? Is this behavior aligned with my values and goals? For example, behavior: procrastinating on a challenging task. Purpose: avoiding the discomfort of potential failure. Impact: increased stress and reduced performance in the long term. Understanding the purpose of a behavior allows you to address the underlying need in healthier, more constructive ways. Step 3. Replace with constructive behaviors. Once you've identified an unhelpful behavior and its purpose, the next step is to replace it with a behavior that serves you better. Constructive behaviors are aligned with your values, promote long-term growth, and help you manage difficult emotions effectively. Strategies for behavioral change. Gradual exposure. For avoidance behaviors, start with small, manageable steps. For example, if you avoid social events, begin by attending a low-pressure gathering or meeting one person for coffee. Behavioral experiments. Test new behaviors and observe the results. For example, if you usually avoid asking for help at work, try reaching out to a colleague and note their response. Often, the feared consequences are less likely or less severe than anticipated. Build healthy habits. Replace self-sabotaging behaviors with constructive habits. For example, instead of binge-watching TV to cope with stress, practice relaxation techniques like deep breathing or yoga. Replace doom scrolling on social media with a 10-minute walk outdoors. Set realistic goals. Break large tasks into smaller, achievable steps. Celebrate progress, no matter how small, to build momentum and confidence. Reward. Positive actions. Reinforce new behaviors with rewards. For example, treat yourself to something enjoyable after completing a challenging task or stepping out of your comfort zone. Addressing challenges in behavioral change. Changing behaviors is not always straightforward. You may encounter setbacks or resistance, both internally and externally. Here's how to navigate common challenges. Fear of failure. Reframe. Failure is a natural part of growth. Every attempt, successful or not, provides valuable feedback. Action. Focus on the process, not the outcome. Celebrate the effort you're putting in. Lack of motivation. Reframe. Motivation often follows action, not the other way around. Action. Start with a small, easy step to build momentum. Critical self-talk. Reframe. Self-criticism rarely leads to improvement. Treat yourself with the same compassion you'd offer a friend. Action. Replace critical thoughts with encouraging ones like, I'm learning and growing. External resistance. Reframe. Not everyone will understand or support your changes, and that's okay. Action. Focus on your goals and seek support from those who encourage your growth, the role of consistency and patience. Behavioral change takes time. It's a process of trial and error, progress and setbacks. The key is to stay consistent and patient with yourself. Small incremental changes compound over time, leading to meaningful transformation. Tips for staying consistent. Track progress. Use a journal or app to monitor your behaviors and reflect on what's working. Build accountability. Share your goals with a trusted friend, coach, or therapist. Practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with kindness, especially when facing challenges. Quick recap. Identify unhelpful behaviors. Notice patterns and how they impact you. Understand their purpose. Explore what need or emotion the behavior is addressing. Replace with constructive actions. Choose behaviors that align with your values and promote growth. Navigate challenges. Anticipate obstacles and use strategies to stay on track. Be patient. Change is a journey, not a race. By changing unhelpful behaviors, you're not just breaking old patterns, you're building a foundation for a more fulfilling, empowered life. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to use CBT techniques to strengthen your resilience and handle life's challenges with greater ease and confidence. Let's keep moving forward. Chapter 5. Building Resilience Through CBT. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from challenges, adapt to adversity, and grow stronger through life's difficulties. It's not about avoiding stress or hardship, but learning how to navigate them effectively. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, provides powerful tools to build resilience by strengthening your mindset, emotional regulation, and coping strategies. In this chapter, we'll explore how to use CBT principles to cultivate resilience in your everyday life. What is resilience? Resilience isn't a trait you're born with. It's a skill you can develop. At its core, resilience involves emotional awareness, recognizing and understanding your emotions, cognitive flexibility, adapting your thinking and finding new perspectives, problem-solving skills, approaching challenges with a solution-oriented mindset, self-efficacy, believing in your ability to handle difficulties, social support, building and maintaining strong connections with others. Using CBT, you can strengthen each of these components to become more resilient over time. Step 1. Strengthen your mindset. Your mindset plays a critical role in how you perceive and respond to challenges. A resilient mindset is characterized by optimism, growth, and self-compassion. Here's how to cultivate it. Reframe setbacks as opportunities. When faced with a setback, practice shifting your perspective. Instead of viewing it as a failure, ask, what can I learn from this experience? How can this challenge help me grow? What's one small step I can take to move forward? For example, thought, I'll never succeed at this. Reframe, this is a tough moment, but it's also an opportunity to learn and improve. Practice. Self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you'd offer a friend. When you encounter difficulties, remind yourself, it's okay to struggle, I'm doing the best I can. Setbacks are a normal part of growth. Self-compassion reduces self-criticism, which can drain your resilience and helps you bounce back more quickly. Challenge limiting beliefs. Resilient people don't let limiting beliefs hold them back. Use Socratic questioning to challenge these thoughts. Is this belief based on facts or assumptions? What evidence supports or contradicts it? What's a more balanced way to view this situation? Step 2. Regulate your emotions. Emotional regulation is key to resilience. It's about managing your emotional responses so they don't overwhelm you. CBT offers several tools to help. Name and validate your emotions. Simply naming your emotions can reduce their intensity. Practice labeling what you're feeling. I'm feeling anxious. And validate it without judgment. It's okay to feel this way. It's a natural response to stress. Fact. Use relaxation techniques. Calming your body can help regulate your emotions. Try deep breathing. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, exhale for 6 counts. Progressive muscle relaxation. Tense and release each muscle group, starting from your toes and working upward. Mindfulness. Focus on the present moment without judgment. Pay attention to your breath, body sensations, or surroundings. Break the rumination cycle. Rumination, repeatedly dwelling on negative thoughts, can drain your resilience. To break the cycle, distract yourself with a positive activity like a walk or creative hobby. Set a time limit for worrying, e.g. 15 minutes, and then redirect your focus. Challenge the underlying thoughts with evidence and alternative perspectives. Step 3. Develop effective coping strategies. Coping strategies are the actions you take to manage stress and solve problems. CBT helps you develop adaptive coping mechanisms that enhance resilience. Problem-solving skills. When faced with a challenge, break it down into manageable steps. Define the problem. Be specific about what needs to be addressed. Brainstorm solutions. List all possible options, even imperfect ones. Evaluate options. Consider the pros and cons of each solution. Take action. Choose one solution and implement it. Reflect. Assess what worked and adjust as needed. Build a resilience toolkit. Create a personalized set of coping tools to use when you're feeling overwhelmed. Your toolkit might include a list of grounding techniques, e.g. focusing on your senses, a playlist of uplifting songs, a journal for processing thoughts and emotions, contact information for supportive friends or professionals. Plan for stressful situations. Anticipate challenges and prepare in advance. For example, if you have a difficult conversation coming up, rehearse what you'll say and how you'll stay calm. If you know a busy week is ahead, schedule time for self-care activities, like exercise or relaxation. Step 4. Strengthen your support system. Social connections are one of the strongest predictors of resilience. Building and maintaining supportive relationships can help you navigate challenges more effectively. Seek connection. Don't isolate yourself during tough times. Reach out to friends, family, or a therapist. Even a brief conversation can provide comfort and perspective. Communicate your needs. Be honest about what you need from others. For example, I'm feeling overwhelmed right now. Can we talk? Don't need advice, just someone to listen. Offer support to others. Helping others can also boost your own resilience. Acts of kindness and generosity strengthen social bonds and create a sense of purpose. Step 5. Practice resilience daily. Resilience isn't built overnight. It's a daily practice that involves small, consistent efforts. Here are some habits. To cultivate. Daily gratitude. Write down 3 things you're grateful for each day. Set intentions. Start your day with a positive intention, such as, I will approach challenges with curiosity. Reflect on wins. End your day by noting one thing you handled well, no matter how small. A quick recap. Resilience involves emotional awareness, cognitive flexibility, problem-solving, self-efficacy, and social support. CBT tools like reframing thoughts, regulating emotions, and developing adaptive coping strategies can strengthen your resilience. Social connections and daily habits play a crucial role in building resilience. Resilience isn't about avoiding difficulties, but learning how to thrive despite them. By applying the principles of CBT, you're not just managing challenges, you're growing through them. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to sustain these changes over the long term, creating a foundation for lasting mental well-being. Chapter 6. Sustaining change and preventing relapse. One of the greatest challenges in personal growth is maintaining the progress you've made. After putting in significant effort to change your thoughts, behaviors, and emotional responses, it's natural to worry about slipping back into old patterns. The good news is that cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, equips you with tools to sustain change and prevent relapse. This chapter will guide you through strategies to solidify your progress and build a long-term foundation for mental well-being. Why? Do relapses happen? Relapse doesn't mean failure. It's a common part of the change process. Understanding why relapses happen can help you prepare for and address them. Some common reasons include stress or overwhelm. High levels of stress can trigger old automatic patterns of thinking and behaving. Lack of practice. Without regular use, new skills can fade over time. Overconfidence. Feeling cured can lead to neglecting the habits that helped you improve. External triggers. Situations, people, or environments associated with old patterns can reignite them. Step 1. Recognize early warning signs. Relapse often starts subtly, with small shifts in thoughts, emotions, or behaviors. By recognizing these early warning signs, you can take action before a full relapse occurs. Common warning signs: increased negative self-talk or unhelpful thinking patterns, avoiding situations, tasks, or responsibilities. Resuming old habits like procrastination or emotional eating, feeling overwhelmed, irritable, or disconnected from others. Action plan. Regular check-ins. Set aside time weekly to reflect on your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Use a mood tracker. Monitor fluctuations in your mood and identify patterns. Ask for feedback. Trusted friends or therapists can often notice changes you might miss. Step 2. Reinforce positive habits. Consistency is key to sustaining change. The habits and strategies that helped you improve initially need to become a regular part of your life. Schedule maintenance practices. Incorporate CBT techniques into your daily or weekly routine. Thought records. Regularly challenge unhelpful thoughts. Behavioral activation. Plan enjoyable and meaningful activities. Relaxation techniques. Practice mindfulness, deep breathing, or progressive muscle relaxation. Celebrate small wins. Acknowledging your progress reinforces your efforts and boosts motivation. Create a habit of celebrating milestones, no matter how small. Example: treat yourself after successfully managing a stressful situation. Stay flexible. Life circumstances change, and so will your needs. Adapt your strategies to fit new challenges and goals. Step 3. Manage high-risk situations. High-risk situations are moments when you're particularly vulnerable to slipping back into old patterns. Preparing for these situations can reduce their impact. Identify triggers. Reflect on past experiences to pinpoint what situations, people, or emotions have led to setbacks. Develop a coping plan. For each trigger, create a specific action plan. For example, trigger: criticism at work. Coping plan: pause before reacting. Use self-compassionate statements: this feedback doesn't define my worth, and plan constructive next steps. Use visualization. Mentally rehearse how you'll handle high-risk situations. Visualization can increase your confidence and preparedness. Step 4. Build a support network. Having a strong support system can make all the difference in maintaining change. Surround yourself with people who encourage and support your growth. Stay connected. Regularly check in with friends, family, or support groups. Share your progress and challenges. This accountability can motivate you to stay on track. Seek professional support. Periodic therapy sessions can help you stay grounded and address emerging challenges. Don't hesitate to reach out if you feel yourself slipping back into old patterns. Create boundaries. Limit interactions with people or environments that consistently trigger unhelpful thoughts or behaviors. Prioritize relationships that align with your values and goals. Step 5. Embrace setbacks as learning opportunities. Setbacks don't erase your progress. They're part of the process. Resilient individuals view setbacks as opportunities to learn and grow. Steps to handle a setback: pause and reflect. What triggered the setback? What thoughts, emotions, or behaviors were involved? Practice self-compassion. Avoid self-criticism. Remind yourself that everyone experiences setbacks. Revisit your tools. Use CBT techniques to reframe your thoughts and plan constructive actions. Adjust your plan. Identify what changes can help you prevent similar setbacks in the future. Step 6. Focus on long-term growth. Sustaining change isn't just about avoiding relapse. It's about continuing to grow and thrive. As you strengthen your skills, you'll find it easier to handle new challenges and achieve your goals. Set new goals. Regularly update your goals to keep yourself motivated. Focus on goals that align with your values and promote personal growth. Reflect on your journey. Take time to look back on how far you've come. Celebrate the changes you've made and the skills you've developed. Cultivate gratitude. Practice gratitude regularly. Acknowledge the people, experiences, and strengths that have supported your growth. A quick recap. Recognize early warning signs. Stay attuned to shifts in your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Reinforce positive habits. Make CBT techniques a consistent part of your routine. Prepare for high-risk situations. Identify triggers and create coping plans. Build a support network. Surround yourself with people who encourage your growth. Learn from setbacks. Treat them as opportunities for growth, not failures. Focus on growth, set new goals, and reflect on your progress. Sustaining change requires commitment, self-awareness, and adaptability. By integrating these strategies into your life, you can build a resilient foundation that supports lasting mental well-being. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to deepen your self-awareness and maintain a lifelong commitment to personal growth. Becoming your own therapist, CBT empowers you to take control of your mental health. With practice, you'll become your own therapist, equipped to handle life's challenges with confidence and clarity. As we close this audiobook, remember, transformation doesn't happen overnight, but every small step you take adds up. Keep going, you've got this.